Welcome to the Hardscape Huddle, the ultimate podcast for contractors looking to elevate their game in the hardscaping world. I am your host, Kyle Staffa. On this show, we're all about sharing the knowledge and skills you need to excel your craft and build your business. From mastering the latest installation techniques and staying ahead of industry curves, the Hardscape Huddle is your trusted resource for all things hardscape construction. Whether you're a seasoned veteran or just getting started, we've got the tools and tips to help you build the business and exceed your clients' expectations. Join us each week as we sit down with industry experts, share insider secrets, and deep dive into the nitty-gritty of hardscape design and installation. Get ready to level up your skills and take your contracting business to new heights. Welcome back to the Hardscape Huddle, presented by Staffa Stone. I'm Kyle Staffa. And today we're fortunate enough to have Paver Pete from Techo-Bloc and Ryan, one of the best sales reps around from Techo-Bloc. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
I see we have color-coordinated T-shirts. Like, did we get dressed with the same people?
It's our pattern language. It's our pattern language.
It's beautiful. You guys know how I firmly believe in dress codes for the businesses, and everybody looks the part.
Yeah, uniforms. Absolutely.
Yep.
Act like a team, work like a team, look like a team.
And it also brings company culture, right? I mean, now, you know, everybody looks the same. You're not better than me. You're a little skinnier than me, but hey, it's good company culture.
Yeah, I like caring culture. I think there's a couple books on that subject, but, you know, everybody feeling like they're part of a family.
Yeah.
They care for each other like family.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's a great point. So, today we're going to talk about a whole wide variety of things, from open grade base, closed grade base, to marketing. So 2024 so far in the New Jersey market, I think, Ryan, you can attest to this. It's been a little funky.
Yeah, a little slow.
A little bit slow. We've had some wet spring days. It's been cool.
Yep.
I think tomorrow, hopefully we're hitting 80, 85.
Yep, back and forth, a little flip-flopping from cold, hot, foggy.
Yeah.
Wet. April was one of the wettest months I ever can remember.
Yeah.
In New Jersey, at least.
Same. I know Staffa Stone's seeing the same thing. I don't know what you see out in your part of the world, and you do get to travel, so you see a wide variety of things. But 2024, I think people need to market themselves. We may have a potential slowdown. It's an election year, so election years always get a little funky, at least in the last 28, 30 years that I can remember. Would you agree to that or disagree?
What's the word of the year, Ryan?
Marketing.
Marketing is the word of the year.
Marketing.
Yeah, let people know who you are and what you do.
Right. So what better way to do it than different search engines and SEM, SEO, SEMM. So maybe we ought to, start today's podcast with that.
Okay, yeah, let's go up on the screen if you want to. And
okay, you have a
little slide and a couple addendums that Ryan will jump in on. But
beautiful.
One of the things that we talk about at Techo is that any contractor that's going to be spending a marketing dollar, that 80% of that go to digital. Digital is forever. We want it out there forever.
Yeah.
Right. Versus some of the more traditional campaigns. But having an optimized website and not taking a bad website and trying to optimize it. A lot of people with 3, 4, 5-year-old websites in Google years, that's infinity. And they know it. All those search engines know that is an older website that maybe somebody has tinkered with and trying to drive traffic there, not getting a lot of organic traffic.
Right. You need to constantly upgrade the photos, upgrade what you do.
Yeah. Maybe just start fresh.
Right.
And budget the money, put that money in
rebrand that website
and new website. And as soon as that website's done and launched and you're starting to get some organic traffic, then we can talk about search engine marketing like AdWords or that kind of thing. But we should automatically start budgeting for the next website and constantly have it fresh. We want that organic traffic first,
right?
With any kind of web traffic. But above and beyond that, at Techo, we have some great videos because we're an education-based company on, like, let's say, permeable pavement or SRWs. And, we pay a lot of money to create these animations and and shoot all this footage, you should have copies of it. It should be on your website. It should be meta tagged so that the search engines know what is embedded in those videos.
So that's a really good point, actually. And it just clicked to me now is if I put that on my website and I'm a contractor, whether I'm a mason contractor, landscape contractor, what have you, that's also educating the homeowner what they should expect when they call you out for a rebuild of a retaining wall, or they just put a pool in. Now it needs a wall in the back, typically, and then what they can expect out of their hardscape. Right? If that homeowner's educated, they should have somewhat of a budget.
Yeah, and the bad news as the hardscape industry grows is there's a lot of education out there, and a lot of it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it's wrong. I'm the education director at Techo, but we have a great team of people. Ryan is one of them, and we are at industry standard or better. Every video we shoot, every publication, every animation, every video, we make sure that we're consulting the Concrete Masonry Hardscape Association. We're at their minimum or better.
Right.
So when you're using some of our content from Hardscape or from our website or from our videos, from Ryan shares it with contractors. He did it twice yesterday on clean block technology or permeable pavement or SRWs. You can be assured it is industry standard or better. You got to be careful that your homeowners are getting the right education.
Techo has videos that the contractor can upload onto their website.
Yes.
What else do we got? So now,
upload onto their website with meta tags.
okay.
So it's got to be tagged. Otherwise, the search engine doesn't know what the content is. So someone has to do it that can tag it. So there's a couple of little quirks there.
Right. So
Yeah.
we might want to hire a company to design this website for us.
Yeah. Yeah. And you want to be careful. Some of these are hard salesmen at the web creation site, $1,800 a month.
That's right.
Wait a minute, dude. give me what you're going to do. Here's what I want to have done. Let's have a conversation, and let's pay you to do certain things, see the result, and then go from there, versus simply sitting down going, I don't know anything about the web. Here's $1,800 a month, and then find out in a year it didn't work.
Right.
Might be too late.
Yep. So just like we ask homeowners to vet contractors, we need to vet the company that's going to build your website or do your SEM. Yeah.
I couldn't say it better.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then jumping from there to social media optimization. A lot of us are participating in social media, but not really optimizing it, not really getting good organic traffic. So you got to have, what do you call it? A content schedule or?
Yes. Contact schedule to have ideas for what to post, when to post. And it just helps you keep your mind rolling so you're getting that content. So and then there's calendars out there that will help you. And scheduling posts. You can
We might even have one we can show some people.
I think we do. But one of the things you could do is schedule these posts too. So you can spend a rainy day all day making posts for the next 2 weeks, and then you're off and run doing other things.
Right. So you can pre-post them, and on Monday, May or Tuesday, Wednesday, May 1st, they post automatically for you. That's what you're saying. How far out can you schedule them?
As far as you want. You can do a month, 2 months. You can schedule. You hire someone to do the scheduling for you.
So it's a great winter project as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you can see which ones are working well, and then you can decide if you decide to boost them or not boost them.
Mm-hmm.
If they're hitting a.
Let's not get there yet.
Okay.
That's social media marketing. That's dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Let's work on the organic optimization first. Another example, you're talking about Instagram, I think specifically, but that's part of Meta. So anything you do on Instagram can get pushed
right
to Facebook, and for your corporate Facebook page, which should also be optimized. But there's also LinkedIn, right, which is I don't know, how would you describe it?
More of a professional, maybe a white collar businessman's page.
Yeah. So you can put good technical information up there on why I think I'm the best contractor for the project, or that I build wood-fired ovens or graphics wall fire pits or something like that.
Right, something a little bit different that it may appeal to a whole different audience.
Yeah, and X is a platform that is one of the older platforms, but really getting a revitalization because of its new ownership. The most famous man maybe in the world right now and the richest man in world's history. I think he's probably doing a couple of things right.
And he just rebranded, right? It was Twitter, now it's X.
Yeah.
So if he needs to rebrand, we do too.
Yeah. So before I spend any dollars as a contractor boosting or promoting or any kind of ad dollars to get more exposure for social media posts, I want to make sure I'm on Meta thoroughly. I want to make sure I'm on LinkedIn thoroughly. I want to make sure that I'm on X thoroughly, and I've increased my digital footprint. Yeah, thank you. Footprint. And now when I spend my ad dollars or when people go to the web, all this stuff's going to show up.
Yep.
All these things are linked together, and the computer knows all this is going on. I think that would be the next step in that platform.
And you're spending your dollars a little bit more wisely, right? You,
Yeah.
you have a target audience. I think, Ryan, you've kind of taught me, like, we can narrow the searches down, right? By credit rating and by household, geographically.
Yes, and the insights through your social media, you can see what's working, what's not working. With the boosting, when you use Facebook, you can actually select certain, like those
AdWords
or whatever, certain things about like where their incomes, zip codes.
Mm-hmm.
So certain ones that work better.
Yeah, geotagging.
Geotagging.
Yep. Maybe bodies of water. We're right by the ocean here.
Yeah.
Right. I live right by one of the Great Lakes. So, I mean, you want to tag if it's, permeable pavement or drainage is a big concern. You want to tag, that body. And then to round out your social media, 20% of every ad dollar should be traditional. I like, postcard mailings, nice, small or large postcards. And, you got to do them repetitively and can't put too much information on them, but a beautiful picture, 5 bullet points. You should consider us for your next hardscape project, for your next wood-fired oven, for your next grill island, for your next fire pit, for your next whatever it might be.
So let's talk about something even maybe a little bit more simplistic for advertising. Your catalogs. To the contractor, what do they cost?
Nothing.
Yeah. So they can pick them up at their local distributor, right?
Any distributor.
So it's probably fair to say we can put them in a cellophane bag with a letterhead while we're working at Mrs. Smith's house.
Short letter, yeah.
Yeah. Walk around the neighborhood. Obviously, it's a neighborhood that has some disposable income, possibly.
Right. Yeah.
And boots on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be you think about it. You open your door and there's that Techo catalog. It's the premier catalog for hardscape or outdoor living design in North America, maybe the world. And you see it. Well, that's a hard thing to throw away.
Right.
It really, you kind of are forced to go through it. And even if it's not relevant to you, you're not going to be doing an outdoor living project this year or next year. It's still a hard thing to throw away. You almost take it to work. You take it to church. You take it to a neighbor or a friend or family member and say, hey, I got this. You were just talking about it. It has some life. And, when that contractor staples their business card to it, puts that short letter with 3 to 5 bullet points on it, that's a very powerful direct door hanger or door knocker type piece. I agree with that.
So we're going to shoot a podcast as well with some people in the real estate market. And that's going to tell you curb appeal value. If you spend X amount per week cutting your grass, it brings back this amount of value. So let's just use $40 for an example. I think you get $30 back in just curb appeal for your home value. Okay, that's not too bad.
Oh,
Outdoor
absolutely.
living is what, don't quote me on it. We'll learn it soon in an upcoming podcast, but I think it was 100% of your value.
No, I don't doubt it at all. I've bought a number of homes as I've moved around the country, and my wife won't even get out of the car if the house doesn't have the right curb appeal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you picked it. She goes, yeah, but now I'm here and I don't like it. And you know what? She's right. If they don't respect that outward appearance of their home, how did they treat the inside of their home?
Right.
So, that's part of that curb appeal equation.
So how do you feel about print ads, radio campaigns? That would probably fall in the other 20% of marketing, correct?
Yeah, you have to stay under the 20%. So even I do like them. I like some of the garden advisor type shows that are on the radio, on AM radio. A lot of people are listening to how to take care of their plants and their vegetable gardens and herb gardens. And, foodscaping is a big deal right now. We do a lot of elevated planters with our products like the Borealis wall and Rogue. I know you guys do a lot of that. But yeah, if you have an opportunity to advertise on one of those, I think that would be powerful.
And usually they're pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, if it's a upscale magazine, let's say Shore Living. I don't know if that's a magazine here in New Jersey, but no,
I don't think
Beach
so.
Living.
Yeah, it actually is.
Oceanfront Living.
Yeah.
But if that was a magazine and it was the spring issue and it's also the home show issue, even if I'm not doing the home show, I would want to run a full page ad in there. I don't want a quarter page. I want a full page ad. I want it to be clean and neat, nice picture that represents what I do profitably, and 3 to 5 bullet points. I'm a 3 to 5 bullet point guy that says these are the things that I would like to build for you. We built a pillar yesterday. We're building some fire pits tomorrow. If that's what I want to build and incorporate into people's lives, then that's what I want to show. And I think a full page ad there, again, very limited shelf life, got to stay under the 20%, but could be very impactful.
Right. And I'm glad you brought it up. You stole some of my thunder here about, pictures to the website, jobs you've completed, but we don't want to show things that we aren't capable of necessarily doing on a day-to-day. You take on that big $150,000 project, that's great. But if you don't have the manpower for it, we probably ought to not show it. We ought to probably show some of those smaller projects that you do every day and you do it well, where your profitability is.
Yes, I agree with that. And I think this content schedule is probably relevant to that discussion, right, Ryan?
Oh yes, I mean this is a great schedule that we found online that is very good to our industry. So you see how easy it is to figure out to make content for our industry alone, just with free resources, discounts, fun facts, statistics, downloadable, valuable tips.
Let's talk practical. Would you be adding fire pits in the spring to your content versus cooking outside, like making burgers on a grill island?
I would do cooking in the spring and fire pits in the fall.
Yeah, that's right. Or later in the summer, right? When people are starting to think about that. Outdoor lighting. I know you just picked up a new outdoor lighting line.
We did. We picked up Bold.
Okay, Bold lighting. I'm a big fan. I have Bold lighting at my house. I think that would be a good thing to market. People want to extend their evenings and be outside a little bit longer. And just because the sun goes down doesn't mean I want to go to bed. You know what I mean? Right. I want to hang out. Even maybe infrared heat might be something to talk to people about.
Especially here in the Northeast and out by the Great Lakes. You said you live currently. We need to extend the seasons a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. If we're going to spend X amount on the backyard, we probably ought to enjoy it for more than 6-8 months a year.
Yeah. Yeah. And here, this repurposing or recycling.
Recycling of content. Whatever you're making, you reuse it in different platforms. So, and how to use it in platforms. So you're making the content, sharing all the platforms is why you got to be on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
On
all at the
X.
same time or at different times.
Yes.
Whatever.
You could schedule it.
We have the new website.
Yep.
Then we did some branding with our Facebook posts, Instagram posts, X, LinkedIn.
Yeah,
LinkedIn's big because it's getting to a whole different
video or memes or pictures can be very powerful.
Not just pictures of our jobs, but maybe we can find somebody with a drone.
I have a drone.
Yeah.
I was gonna
and time lapse.
Time lapse camera.
Very powerful.
Very
good. Yep.
You don't want to be Blair Witchy with your projects. You want to be a nice steady cam.
Yep. So we may be able to put this together for $5,000. We have a new website. We have all of the Instagram up and running, Facebook, yada yada. So it doesn't sound like it's a whole big investment.
The idea of growing a company is that you're going to grow people. People is the company. So having someone in marketing eventually, not the president of the company is also the salesman of the company, is also the marketer for the company. And
he's your CDL driver.
Driver.
Right.
Yeah.
Mechanic.
Right.
That's not fair. So eventually we want to get to a point where one of these trade school graduates who learned social media is now working part-time with us and bringing, this new insight and maybe, regardless of age, but a youthful vision in a how to get that content out to the good information out to the audience.
Internship.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some ideas that I throw out to contractors is telling them to, if they have kids, the kids that maybe they're not big in social media, the kids, but they have friends that probably are. Maybe pay them a certain amount during the summertime to help them out. Everyone's looking for gas money, or going to the colleges, the vocational schools.
Yeah.
But a lot of contractors are taking the advice of checking with their children about their friends, because they're the ones going to be up and trying to do the unique things.
So us as a Techo distributor, we're doing some co-branding things with co-op dollars for door hangers, and getting back to placing that Techo-Bloc magazine in a cellophane wrapper.
Yeah, catalog, yeah.
Yeah, so we're branding it with Techo-Bloc, Staffa stone, and then the contractor. And the contractor's going around as he's working in the developments, some retirement areas or up, up.
Baby boomers are retiring.
That's right.
Safe ambulation, heated pavement.
Yep.
Warmly Yours is the brand that I'm fond of. I've done some warm zone as well, but having safe ambulation regardless of how cold or icy or and not having rock salts all over your access into and out of the home, I think
right,
is a big
because now you're
deal.
tracking it on the floors and the carpet,
and ruining them. And so I think that absolutely is a great opportunity to go into those 55 and older developments or 65 and older and talk about safe ambulation, with heated pavement.
That's a great point, because they have clubhouses. Okay. We can gather the entire community in the clubhouse and present to them in an evening.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great, talking about sales just for a second, that's a great opportunity to get in front of HOAs and community centers and municipalities and townships and talk about permeable pavement and infrared heat in the landscape and heated pavement in the landscape, or whatever it is that we're talking about, retaining structures that give them more usable space without spending a significant amount of money or buying more land. I think those kinds of things open people's eyes to, well, I didn't even know that was an option.
Right. I totally agree. And not to get off topic, but heated pavement is big and can be used in commercial applications. So that would have prevented a slip and fall for my wife with a broken arm 2 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And that was a commercial.
There are statistics, and they're published in the CMHA, the Concrete Masonry Hardscape Association tech spec on safe ambulation across pavement, or slip and skid resistance. And there's a statistic in there. It's a fraction of 1 second when you start slipping, your ability to stop yourself. It's almost impossible for you to grab something or grab someone around you and say, I'm about to fall, keep me from falling. It's almost impossible. So if you can create an environment, and it's really a great value. The one at my home has a sensor on the roof. It picks up the moisture in the environment, snow, rain, ice, whatever, and the temperature outside, kicks on in advance of the event, gets the pavement above freezing temperature. So there's never any accumulation of snow. You're not melting the snow. It never accumulates. It picks up the temperature change and the moisture's gone in the environment and shuts off. So even, me living, very close to the lake effect snows, we get lots and lots of snow. It's very affordable.
So how much snow did you guys get this year? How many inches?
Feet. Probably all said and done about 3 feet, about half of what we normally get.
Okay. And how much did you shovel this year?
None.
Pretty wild.
Yeah. My wife didn't at all. I'm such a big fan. I'm using Garden Mark artificial grass, and I'm installing a heated pet relief area at my house right now. And you're going to come help me, and you might come help me.
Sure, I'll be there.
Yeah, and we have a small dog, and shoveling for the pet relief area. It's going to look like a putting green with a little chipping area, but really it's I'm not much of a golfer, but give me a can of beer in 10 minutes, maybe, maybe, but
that's called shotgunning, Pete.
Yeah, okay. But having that area where, and we love our dog, right?
Of course.
So we want to, it to have a good life. And I can tell you, my wife doesn't want to shovel. to get for the dog to get out to the grass. So we're going to have that by winter this year.
Especially when you're at Showcase.
Yeah, when I'm on the road. Yeah.
We don't have dates for Showcase yet, do we?
Not yet. Normally, when we get closer to October, November, when we get them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So getting back to advertising, contractors, authorized contractor program from Techo, can they use co-op dollars on this, Ryan?
Fortunately, no, we don't have co-oping ability for the contractors. Co-oping goes through only the dealers, distributors. But we can work with them with something new came out this year, techogear.com. It's a way that they can use our value of how much swag and shirts that we end up purchasing throughout the year. We get a better pricing overall. They can have their logos onto their onto shirts that they might like. That like these shirts, you can have your logo put on here.
Okay.
So
it's co-branded, the contractors company and Techo-Bloc.
yes,
Perfect.
at a better value price purchasing for.
Right. No, I get it. So basically, we need visibility, right? We have the new website. We're co-branded with Techo-Bloc on our uniforms. We just put boots on the ground and delivered some flyers. Instagram and Facebook are really kicking off for us. Yep. The LinkedIn doing well, getting us into potentially new areas.
Possibly the commercial market. You get a lot of architects, designers on there.
Builders, developers.
Right. So hopefully this leads to a better, 2024, 2025. What else should we do for marketing?
No, I think you're good. If you have an optimized website, you do put a couple of dollars towards AdWords. If you have an optimized social media presence, you just did a great job of listing what needs to happen. Then you can boost, like we talked about, and
and reuse,
and
repurpose.
Upcycle, yeah. And then you have some kind of an oh shit marketing plan, like oh shit that's not working.
Right.
Then you have some kind of a traditional platform, whether it be if it's the road leading into the shore, maybe it's a billboard, or maybe it's postcards where you're going to hit a certain development, a certain region 3 times with postcards once every 2 weeks, right? So you hit 5,000 homes 3 times, and you say, well, we need more leads than that, because you're only going to get probably 15 or 20 leads, probably get 2 or 3 jobs from something like that. But you also want to be able to manage them. You don't want to hit 50,000 people, get 100 phone calls that you can't handle. That's no good.
Right. So that was going to bring me into the next point of, okay, now I've got all these leads. How are we going to handle these new leads? I don't have a salesperson. I'm also the CDL driver. I cut 40 lawns a week, me and 2 kids. So let's talk about, maybe allocation of resources and how do we charge for our jobs where we can afford a marketing person or that intern to help out with social media, and maybe takes photography, or I see you have a slide. Perfect.
I do have a slide.
So
I think anytime you talk about hiring somebody, you have to have a job description. What does that person do? LinkedIn is a great place. Glassdoor. There's a couple of other ones like that escape me that you can go to, and ZipRecruiter would be another one.
Indeed, yep.
Indeed. Okay, there's 4 of them real quick off.
We're going to have a podcast with All Search Recruiting.
Okay, perfect. It's a search engine for potential employees.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So we go there, and we say we want to hire a salesperson. Okay, so let's look.
But I can't afford one.
Wait a minute. Let's look at what that person does, and then we can figure out whether we can afford them or not, right? Let's see what it is that they're doing, so that we can allocate a dollar value that says, okay, they're going to be doing this, 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 and this. So, this process really is a job description. A job that's under 300 grand, 3 grand, 300 grand. That'd be good. It's under 3 grand. They're going to be on the phone with that individual. They're going to be looking at pictures, really just showing them some different walkways or small plazas or small areas that they can build. Jobs that are $3,000 to $10,000. Okay, they're going to have visits involved there. There's going to be bidding via email. There's going to be a phone call or 2. And as the jobs get bigger, you're eventually going to get to the point where, you have 3 visits. You have a visit in your showroom. You guys have a beautiful showroom. So maybe they're meeting there if they don't have a physical office, but Zoom calls, team calls, WebEx calls, as we put this together and we say, okay, here's where we're marketing. Here's the kind of people that we're going to see. Here's how many people we're going to see in a year. Here's how many jobs we need to get from those visits. Then we can start allocating a dollar value to that individual. And we can back up a second. And I think I have a slide here that will answer your question. And this talks about a spreadsheet. And, Ryan can supply this to anybody who wants it. But, what are the titles of the salaried employees that we have? If I'm hiring a salesperson, they're not doing any presidential responsibilities. They're not meeting with accountants and attorneys and bankers, and they're just, they're not checking things like a president would do. Sales and estimator, if they're both, well, that pays different than if they're just sales. In this case, I think I've amended that one. Probably was working with a contractor on this, but pay $75,000 a year. I don't know. Your market's going to be a little different, right? This is going to be playing in Canada too, and there's an exchange rate and all that stuff too. But 34 hours, that's 85% of their time. We're going to pay them $63,000,
and we're figuring this as a 40-hour week.
40-hour week, right? Just to keep things simple,
yep.
Right? And then you look at what else a salesperson would do, and you say, well, they're doing some design. 2 hours a week, they're going to be working with a designer that we have, or a subcontract landscape architect that we're dealing with, and there's a lot of great ones around North America, and it seems to be a trend now where a lot of build firms are outsourcing their design, but the salesman's still on the phone a couple hours a week with that designer, going back and forth on making sure that's right,
and probably with the homeowner as well, because most of those firms they need a survey of the property.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was last week or something we were talking about it. You went out and turned the
correct. So brief story. We went out to a job site, did a walkthrough with a contractor, and the design that we had in our hand was backwards.
Yeah.
So it's things do get awry, right?
Let's turn that around. Marketing, it's a different pay scale typically than someone who's out on the road. Door to door in the evenings, and it's a tougher road, and that pays 50. Again, I don't know, but $50,000 in our little example, and 4 hours of time that salesman is spending on social media, talking to the web creators, doing door hangers, doing whatever, and you can see that cuts into their overall salary. So we started at a salary of $75,000. Now they're at $71,500. You can barely see it in the bottom right-hand corner, but the more time your salespeople spend marketing, the less time they spend selling, the less you can pay them, because they're doing a lot of things that aren't in the scope or in their job description, maybe because it's easy for them, maybe because they like it, and that's fine, but we have to pay them appropriately.
Right. So basically this potential customer or contractor that hired a sales rep for $75,000 is losing money.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where the job descriptions
come in. And to no fault
in.
of anybody other than you're not being a salesman. You're being a salesman. What else? A designer.
A designer.
And a marketing. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's look at one more. Obviously, there's 40% labor responsibility in that number. You may be paying that person $71,500, but that's not what they cost you. So you need to take that. Some people call it labor burden. I hate that term. Burden sounds like a backpack full of rocks. I'm not, I'm not a fan.
So you mean I actually have to budget for paying FICA?
Yeah.
And okay.
Yeah. So this is an admin role. So we'll boot up here in 1 second, but here you see president 0, sales, estimator, designer, all zeros. Then we get to admin, 8 hours a week, marketing, 2 hours a week, bookkeeping, 5 hours a week, people care, that's my term, Ryan. We use the same term.
It's for HR, but
yeah. Human resources just sounds so terrible. Welcome humans. It just sounds silly.
Old.
Yeah, old. But here's someone who works 25 hours a week. We pay him $21,000. Of course, They don't cost us $21,000. We have 40% labor responsibility,
But you hired them at 35.
yeah, well, they're only doing that 40% of their time. So we pay them appropriately for that. That's what this spreadsheet does. And, there's a lot of great softwares out there now. There's, Synced Up, LMN, Aspire, Blue Claw, Dynascapes. There's just so many great softwares that have these kinds of salary spreadsheets built into them. And I highly recommend them. I don't, I'm a big fan of all of them. I think they do a great job. And I think you should try and do little tests and do interviews with all of them and pick the one that's right for your company.
And basically, for the viewers at home, the contractors at home, whether they're in New Jersey or Florida, California, basically those softwares are you put your input in, correct?
Oh, yeah.
And that helps you with man hours on a job site. It helps you
bidding,
right,
to make sure you're not losing money.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. It does everything. I've been in the industry just over 30 years. I know I look really young and thin.
You look good for 35.
Young and thin. But I'm consulting now with companies that want to buy other companies because they really want their marketing. They want their sales team.
Of course.
They want their production team. Not really buying old compactors and saws and that kind of nonsense.
They want what they do well.
Yeah, they want what they do well. They want the data that they built. And I'm helping other companies sell. They have no succession plan, and it's time for them to kind of phase it out and move maybe towards retirement or just an employment situation versus owning and running a company. Anytime I'm doing that consulting for a landscape company, if there's no estimating and job costing software, I'm not talking about Peachtree and QuickBooks, which are great. That's accounting software. Following GAAP, very important. I'm all about that. But if they don't have bidding software, I don't even want to talk to you. I can't help you if you don't have the data on bidding.
So I'm really glad you brought this point up because later in episodes, we are going to have financial advisors on that teaches contractors how to save for retirement, because you just summed it up. A number of contractors that we see come through the door at Staffa Stone are smaller companies, and there's nothing wrong with them. They're great contractors. They're great in the office, but they just don't know how to retire. Okay. They didn't save for it. They didn't budget for it. Okay. Yeah. And let's face it, we have to budget. And we learned by having All Search Media on and Ocean County Pick on, people that are looking for jobs are looking for 401ks. So again, it goes back to the budgeting end of it. But
yeah, let's just jump over here because this answers your question, and I think I have another slide that might help with that. It's how do we charge for a labor hour for a team of 3 or 4 people that is on a job site.
Okay.
And I think this answers the retirement question, the healthcare question, the labor responsibility, not labor burden, but labor responsibility question. We start with an average wage rate, and I have 4 people on a job. I pay A, B, C, and D X amount of dollars per hour. I add that together, I divide by 4, and I get an average wage rate. Okay, so it's too difficult to figure out each individual.
So you're saying maybe I have a CDL driver that I pay X, I have a site foreman that I pay, Y, and 2 laborers.
Yeah, or a machine operator on top of 2 laborers.
Okay.
Right, who I need to pay a premium. But I average it out because some jobs are going to have 3 laborers and a foreman. Some jobs are going to have no laborers, a machine operator, and a foreman. So just that average just makes it easy. Then we jump into labor responsibility. There you see that 40% number in there again. But this is what we're going to go through and say we need a 401k. We need some kind of disability insurance or life insurance or health insurance, and we need personal days and sick days. People's kids get sick.
Family Leave Act.
Yeah, people need to be able to say, I'm sick today. I could go to work. I'll get everyone else sick, and I won't be very productive.
Well, mental burnout too.
Oh,
I mean, especially, we try to make a year's worth of income in 8 or 10 months. And if you live north of us, I mean, they probably try to do it quicker.
Yeah, 6 or 8 months. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. So we need to recover that amount of money. This is something I made up. I was, I am friends. I was friends with Charles Vanderkoy, Vanderkoy Associates, God rest his soul, a great guy, Chuck Vanderkoy. And he used a multiple overhead recovery system. And I'm not saying I'm smarter than him. No way, no how. Brilliant man. I'm a big fan. And all the associates that worked with him. But applying overhead on one variable is a great starting point for a lot of companies. So I created SOARs. Sounds attractive.
Sounds a little different.
Yeah, the single overhead recovery system, which means whatever my expenses are, expenses and overhead really the same thing. Whatever my expenses are, I divide by how many billable man hours I plan on consuming this year, and that gives me an overhead recovery rate based on every man hour. So now I have, in this example, I've recovered my overhead. I've helped people live a good life and feel like they're part of the team and my family, and everyone's been paid. And my bill to the consumer would be, hypothetically $71.77 per billable man hour. That's what I would be charging the consumer, the client, to build their project. Now, I have a degree in accounting. I worked in accounting right out of school. But even though this isn't GAAP, we're in a tough year. I would look at rounding some of these numbers up and saying that, if I'm $71.77, maybe I need to be in the $80 per man hour range. I think that would be a good leaping point for hardscapers, landscape masonry kind of projects. And then you get into structural things, retaining walls that, geogrid stabilized, and there's drainage and there's grading at the top and toe of the wall. I'm probably getting 90, 100, 110, 120.
Well, you get into the bigger projects, your labor is going to be slowed down anyway, because, like you said, you're not going to have access or something like that.
Oh, you're dependent on other trades.
Yep.
There's a lot of soil conditions, achieving Proctor densities, modified versus standard. There's a lot of USCS classifications of soils. There's a lot of different variables on those larger, more structural components. I love the residential market. But you get on a big retaining wall residentially, developer, or commercially, it's a whole different ballgame.
So going back, can we go back one slide?
Yeah.
So just to be clear, this is your overhead for just your labor.
It's overhead for everything. I'm just recovering it on labor. So the single overhead recovery system, I'm recovering. There's only 4 variables: labor, equipment, material, and subs. And I'm just picking one of them. Right. I could pick all 4. That would be the multiple overhead. So
that's where I was going.
Yeah.
But some of the, again, going back to, the Staffa Stone experience, is I take cash. Well, 2 things. Cash is fine. Okay. But you can't sell cash when it comes to retirement. So going back to your software, if they don't have software, how do you sell a business that 50% of the income is cash and, we put it under the mattress? You don't.
Yeah, no, you can't.
You're going to keep working.
No.
Well, even if they have a nest egg.
Yeah.
Okay. They just have to close the business down.
Yeah.
So sometimes taking that cash is not the best of things. It seems great up front, but we can't get out of it. Okay. I think my business is worth $1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on the books you show X. You show 500,000.
Yeah. Let's back up just 1 second. This is, again, just a simple spreadsheet the education department at Techo-Bloc created. I'm a part of that team. Ryan's a part of that team, and it says labor responsibility, and you have all the things that the government wants. Otherwise, they'll put you in jail. So let's avoid that.
Yeah.
And my numbers may be old here. I don't know what the current numbers are, but some of our spreadsheets get a little old. But, FICA, FUTA, SUTA, workman's comp, those kinds of things. And, liability insurance, you have to have it. You can't be on a job site without it. But then you look at vacation, holiday pay, health insurance, life insurance, short-term disability, meaning I hurt myself playing soccer. I fell on my motorcycle. I can't come to work for a month or 2 months until I recover from something that has nothing to do with work. It'd be nice to have a short-term disability policy for your team so they're not coming back injured, because then they may never recover.
Well, when you sign up for certain health cares, that comes automatically.
Yeah. Sometimes it
Okay,
does. Yeah,
so-
sure. And then, what we're talking about here, personal days, sick days, but 401k, and, I have, 0.1% of the match that the company is going to be paying into the amount that the employee, which includes the president of the company, because a company is an entity, it exists. It's a real living, breathing thing. If you're an accountant, so even if you're the owner of the company, you're an employee of the company.
Correct.
And you can invest in your 401k, and you can get match, and you want to get everybody active in it, almost mandate it. Because some of the young people say, I don't want any of my money going into retirement. I'm not worried about that. I want all my money myself. Well, then you're working at the wrong, what'd you say, company culture. I called it a caring. You're in the wrong culture.
Yeah.
Because we're a company that is going to help you build towards your retirement. If you're 18 or 58, doesn't make any difference to us. You're going to move. We're going to help you move in that direction to where you're building wealth, you're investing and divesting some of your money that's coming in. Otherwise, you're in the wrong place.
As running a supply yard for the last X amount of years, we befriend some of these contractors, and one in particular, he's a great installer, and some of his guys, he pays the traditional way through a payroll company, and then over time he pays his guys cash. Well, that all is good for both parties until the employee wants to go and buy a house, and he says, well, I made $70,000 last year, and he's applying for that loan, and they say, well, on your W-2 you only made 50. They're only going to approve him on that 50. So guys, we want to elevate our industry by paying everybody above board. And I think sometimes that gets forgotten, that the reason this podcast exists, the reason we're all in business, is we're trying to do it the right way, and be above board so everybody has the same playing field.
Yeah, that's right. On the right side of the screen, I take it a step further, and anybody, these are all suggestions. People can do whatever they want to do, but having a bonus plan above and beyond this.
Mm-hmm.
Above and beyond this 40% that's going into this backpack of expenses the company incurs for an employee, having a bonus plan set aside and giving out gift cards to, I'm an outdoorsman. I like hunting. I like fishing. I like camping. I like being outdoors, mountain biking, all that kind of stuff, or road biking. REI or Cabela's giving out gift cards saying, hey, go somewhere. Enjoy
with your family.
Yeah.
Because I just took 50 hours a week away from your family.
Yeah. Go get some healthy food. I don't want to give, I'm not giving out fast food gift cards, right? I mean, and I'm sure there's good fast food companies out there. I don't know, but we want you to have a healthy, this is a caring culture.
Yeah.
We want you to read. One of the keys to building wealth is knowledge, and that knowledge often comes from books. So, saying, well, I don't read. Well, here's a gift card for a bookstore. Start.
But even technology, right? You got audiobooks and things like that,
I'm not a fan. I want a book.
Yeah.
I want to hold it. I want to take notes in it.
Audiobooks I like.
Yeah. I like writing on
Well, you're younger
margins.
Than me. Yes.
Okay. I have to actually hold the book in my hand.
Me
Otherwise, my brain is in the mountains somewhere.
That's it. That's it. If you're not taking notes and you pick the topic. I'm not telling people what to buy, but I read a lot about history, read a lot about politics and economics and religion. You pick the topic. I'm not saying go buy a book on hardscaping. There's a couple of great ones out there, or landscaping or horticulture or masonry or anything like that. I'm saying, I'm reading a book about Thomas Jefferson right now, and Monticello, his home, and how he built it and why he built it a certain way, and how he interacted with nature and the natural bridge and all this stuff. And I'm learning, about a man that I've read many books about, but his style is life, not that different than me. Yeah. Right. I mean, I'm like, well, this guy, he was a reader, right? Had a huge library. James Madison bought his library and started the Library of Congress, which is pretty neat thing. And how they measured wealth in those days by how many books you had. and how many books you had read. So, that's why I like that kind of, when somebody does something on a job site, like takes the trash, throws it in the truck, puts a brand new contractor grade trash bag into the can, puts the lid on it so that we're not picking up trash and
letting it blow to the neighbors.
Yeah. Everybody shows up with their uniform on.
Right.
Everybody shows up with their lunch.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things. When those things are happening, I want to be handing out $25, $50, $100 gift cards to people going, we are rocking it. And you are the culture here.
And it doesn't cost much. Let's face it. It doesn't cost much for that employee to feel satisfied, right? That he's welcomed, he's appreciated.
They're gonna work.
He
harder.
or she.
Yeah,
He or she.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I really like that idea. We do bonuses as well.
Yeah.
You have to budget for it in advance.
That's it. And it goes into overhead.
Yep.
And it's different than the salary. It's just something that, there should be a metrics that you use. Techo-Bloc's really good at setting up what we call KPIs or key performance indicators. And if you hit those key things, we have a great team of people, marketing, sales, production, and just really, in 35 years, you kind of weed out the bad and the cream rises to the top, which is just awesome. But to get that additional pat on the back, that additional thank you, it could be, clothing. You wore a jacket today from the President's Club, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, that's a big achievement, right?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's lots of hard work.
yeah. How does that feel?
Right. When you
Feels
stand
good.
up there.
I'm proud wearing those things that we've gotten from the company
Mhm.
for those awards. But it feels good always feels good to be able to recognized.
How about doing employee of the month?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it's a safety thing. Okay,
That would be part of the matrix for sure.
We haven't had an accident or an injury in 30 days. Good job, boys.
Yeah.
Some of these are great posts to make too, by the way, that homeowners know that what you're doing and seeing you have a clean job site, the uniforms they're wearing. It's not just a
I have a
fake job.
slide on that.
There you go.
What don't you have, Pete?
No, but it's you see guys working in proximity of a roadway without a safety vest.
Right.
I mean, not only is that going to lead to an OSHA fine and you'll be in big trouble, people showing up with sneakers on that aren't composite or steel toe. It's just not acceptable. That is not a caring culture. That is not where we want you to be, whether it's, using IQ saws, which, aren't as fast as a giant Target, electric powered, water run, slurry blowing everywhere. You're covered in cementitious dust. It's coating your skin. And, if you use it correctly, overall, it's much faster.
Right.
Right. And be patient. It's cutting, it's vacuuming, it's storing all at one time.
Yeah, but now I have to pick each piece up and carry it to the saw.
Yeah. Well, there's mobility, obviously, to
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
But that's what we hear at the
Right.
store.
Right.
Yeah, but look, we can start this saw right here in the store, okay, and cut right here.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Right.
no dust. Yes, it's loud.
Yeah.
But you have your ear protection.
Oh, and they have silent blade technology. They have copper core sandwich blades that you can run at 6 a.m. and not, every homeowner in the world, going crazy. But and I'm a fan of IQ, but there's splitters too. I mean, there are great guillotine style splitters. This industry is, paving stone industry, 5,000-6,000 years old. And you look back that time, there was no vacuuming, dust extraction, diamond arrayed matrix blade saws. There was
By hand.
splitters. There was, the concept of holding it, pinching it, and using the leverage of your weight. And again, no dust, no one gets hurt. There's no noise. So bringing back guillotine style splitters for paving slabs or plank stones, for paving stones, for retaining wall block. Not all retaining. We make some products that it doesn't work on. I think we're building graphics wall with
Correct.
you guys tomorrow. That one, I like to split the corners.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I like the look
You
of
get
it.
a little bit more split face in the product.
Yeah, just increase that percentage. Those right, but whether it's a HEPA particle mask that's N95 rated or being fit tested, which we would struggle with because we have facial hair, right? And that's that does impede that restriction, or attenuators or respirators or eye protection or whatever. It's no joke. and you're going to be issued a LL Bean or an REI bag with your name on it and the name of the company, and all your PPEs will be in there, and you're expected to have them. You're expected to use them, and we're never behind schedule so much that we're risk losing your sight or your hearing or your ability to breathe.
And as long, some of this can be mandated by your insurance company too. Okay. So like our insurance company, even though New Jersey is, pro marijuana use and things like that, because we run heavy equipment, we cannot have anybody test positive. So we do random drug tests.
Mm-hmm.
Our insurance company also makes everybody in the yard have composite or steel toe, like Pete's saying. But we take it a little bit further as well. Earbuds. Okay. The guys loading trucks want to use earbuds, or running machines, a skid steer, what have you. They want to listen to their music or listen to this podcast perchance. And in our business, our insurance says, no, you can't. He or she got to be able to hear everything going on in their area.
Environment. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. So, this is just, we're talking about profitability and success of an overall company. The bottom one's where we're talking, which is safety consultants.
Yeah.
There are professional safety consultants that can come in and help you write a safety program that will end up saving you money.
I was going to say, which reduces some of your overhead on the insurance policy.
That's absolutely in writing.
Yep.
You talked about content schedules, but you would have safety meetings on a regular basis. You're empowering maybe a laborer, maybe a leadman, maybe a foreman, maybe somebody in the equipment operator who's going to be training everyone else along those lines. We talked about LMN earlier, the Landscape Management Network, a software company, but they are partnered with Greenius, which is a safety software where you can go in and safely operate a saw or a mower or compactor, and what PPEs you need and what engineering controls you need to have in place to make sure that you don't get hurt, and then the PPEs to cover things that you can't engineer out of it, those kind of safety things. But, meeting with bankers, meeting with accountants, meeting with attorneys, those kinds of professional fees in 2024, you cannot miss. You need to budget money. You need to spend time with each one of these professionals to make sure that you're heading in a profitable direction, a successful direction, and that you can eventually buy more companies or sell your company and then have your team, either move on with you or without you, or maybe even buy your company from you.
And you would agree that this, meeting with the bankers and getting a good rapport with your banker, your legal team, your accounting firm, that's all the president's job.
Yeah, largely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And if you go back to Glassdoor or LinkedIn or Indeed, and you pull up what a president does for a company that does a $500,000 in gross sales, $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, $10 million, whatever your gross sales are, and you print them all out. I'm old school print.
I'm with you.
I'm sorry. And I lay them out on the table, and my wife will get mad at me because that's how I think. And I see all the job descriptions are on the table, and then I start reading through and typing in the ones that are relevant to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I start, okay, now we don't do that. Yeah. Yes, we do that one. Yes. No. Yes. And then I all of a sudden have a job description for what a president should do. And I look internally and say, I'm not doing this stuff. I'm not spending any time on people care or HR or whatever.
But by printing it out and putting it all over the table, for me at least, and there's probably others out there, it allows you to see where I'm at today and the direction I want to be in 5 years, 10 years. You got to have that growth plan, right? So yes, maybe I'm the president today and I'm at this level, but I want to be at that $10 million level.
Yeah.
Or $50 million level.
Or let's take gross sales out of it and say profitability. I'm at
that's even a bigger thing.
10% net profit. I want to be at 15 or 20 or 30 or 50%, net profit. Whatever the number is, all of that is attainable. The things that the hardscape community, you can look in the Techo catalog. You can look at Techo catalogs for the past 35 years. And I was a contractor, and that's how I paid my way through college and afterwards. the jobs the jobs you take me to, I'm walking around going, oh my God, this is incredible. What a life we have created. This hardscape community has created for this homeowner who has worked really hard and saved their money or maybe got a little inheritance or something and said, we're going to put in a swim spa. We're going to put in a smoker and a wood-fired oven and a griddle. And we did a griddle this year. I love griddles in the outdoors.
But they also budgeted.
Yeah.
Those people budgeted over time. We're talking about budgeting to be profitable in our company. But even in the home life, if we do it in our business, we have to do it in our home life. And that's what those homeowners did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right? They knew they wanted that pool.
We can make their lives better. We can reduce their time on TikTok by giving them really cool things to do in their backyard. They could have, if they're into that, they can have a giant TV and watch concerts and watch movies with their family and do really neat things in the land. They can make a wood-fired oven or cook a steak in a cast iron pan in a wood-fired oven at 800 degrees. One of our friends, Mike Day, is up in New Hampshire, and he just made a steak. I challenged him to go get a cheap steak from a cheap grocery store and cook it in a cast iron pan in his Forno wood-fired oven from Italy. And he did it. He called me, he goes, and that was the best steak I think I've ever had. And I said, yeah, you've caramelized it in that, with a little bit of oil at 800 degrees, minute and a half, let it rest for a couple of minutes. And he was like, you were right. It's healthier for him. It's healthier for his family. It's engaging.
Well, that's what I was going to say is by creating the outdoor living experience, you're spending more time at home with your family. And that may be a thing to come in 2024, 2025. We saw it during COVID. Mm-hmm. You weren't allowed to travel anywhere. Mm-hmm. Well, as inflation keeps going up, traveling keeps going up. And today, the local report was how messed up Newark Airport is. Okay, they just got done. Pete, you're probably not familiar. I don't know, a couple $1 billion overhaul of Newark Airport.
Wow.
And Terminal A, brand new.
Correct, brand new Terminal A. It's gorgeous.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. But there is such a lag time of being able to park your car, to get through security, to get through it all. So people are staying home more. We're back to the staycation end of marketing, so to say.
Yeah, I like traveling. A neat fact is when my dad immigrated from Greece to New Jersey, he was one of the electricians that wired the lights at Newark Airport.
So you have a biased opinion of Newark.
Back in the day. But I do like traveling. One of my close friends lives in Madrid, and I have family still in Cyprus and Greece. And so I enjoy that. But when you go over there, you're meeting people, and that's nice. But when I'm home, I'm with my neighbors. Mm-hmm. I'm with my family. Yeah. I'm with my congregation. And I'm with people. I know I love them. I'm not going out and it's nice to meet new people. I get it. I like to do that. But when I'm in my backyard and we're cooking and we're talking and we're making s'mores, I have a mini Creta fire pit with a windscreen and I'm a huge fan of it. It's got a fire gear insert on it. And
I bet you like a nice glass of whiskey too.
Yeah, glass of whiskey. Yeah, you do. You know that. Yeah. And to have a glass with people that I love, that I go to church with, that I live in the neighborhood with, and they see us, right. You know what I mean? Kind of around the corner. We thought you were back here. That is a feeling that you can't miss. Yeah. And my daughter, who has friends coming over, and sitting in the backyard eating lunch or whatever. It's, traveling's great. I like it, but being home too is really awesome.
Yeah, but I guess it all boils down to the contractors knowing what the value is they're bringing to that homeowner.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just I don't know if you can put a dollar sign on being able to know how much time you're spending with your family, mm-hmm. right? One thing that makes me always feel good, Pete, and we've got a budget for it, is donations. Okay, I know. I've heard you talk about it at Showcase a couple times, and just being able to give back to whether it's your local congregation or any veterans organizations, just put away for it a little bit at each project.
Yeah, I wish someone would have told me. We've talked a lot about this. We've been riding
Yes.
around last couple days, but I wish someone would have told me as a younger person that the more I give, just without any expectation of return, the more wealthy I'll be. If I would have started sooner, contributing, donating, volunteering. Here's another. Tell us about this one.
So this is the Arlington National Cemetery. This is every year they do this with a bunch of landscapers, donate their time, and they come in and they clean up the yard and lime the process. But what we did here is that we worked with them to do a bus stop with Techo-Bloc products with a couple local contractors. We donated our time coming on a Saturday and Sunday to do this, and it felt good. I have family that's buried in Arlington, so like I will always
Had a different
donate
meaning for
Yes.
you.
We went to the site.
I feel proud.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
as
went
you
to the
should.
site.
Mm-hmm.
We had friends of ours call us who had family members who died in Vietnam and tell us where to go. And Ryan went so far as to pull roses out of his grandparents' bouquet
Before we put it down on the grandparents.
and spread them around to other veterans. I think it was
Oh, that's
one of
awesome.
yeah. We're pretty good friends. But
Gives me chills.
I said we're going to be friends forever now. But this is the bus stop where veterans stop to go to the tomb of the unknown soldier.
Wow.
So they get off on Techo-Bloc, blue. I think it's champagne gray, and we have a border on it.
Chestnut brown, I think.
Yeah, Avignon curbing, and not only did we do it, but we went back. I wasn't there the second year, but we went back and cleaned it and protected it so that it's pristine. That when they're using it, or if it does get muddy, they can just simply hose it off. And it's an honor to do that, and I feel wealthier having been a part of that installation.
Well, a couple things that I noticed. One in the slide, and is everybody's got their safety vests. I see some hard hats. I think top right corner there.
Yeah.
Gentleman bent down. I'm assuming they all have all their personal
Attenuators.
equipment. Yeah.
Yeah,
boots.
respirators, safety glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I see a little tent in this, so they can get out of the sun, eat their lunch.
That was our tent.
yeah. No,
it's really good to see that.
You pick, I know Staffa is very active in the community and vocational schools, and we're super proud to be partnered with you.
Thank you.
I know you distribute our products, and occasionally you do end up with a banner on the left field of the little league team.
But that's not why you do it.
Yeah. No, and I know your heart, and I know just, in us being friends and communicating that you guys are doing things that, the community doesn't know about. And that's why you're successful.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you go outside of your way, people just know it. It's a feeling, it's an aura around you that, you're a company that cares about the community.
Oh, I appreciate that. And it makes us feel good. Finally, we made it just enough to be able to give back to the guys that supported you to get you where you are.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
We donate to, I think this year we're trying to do something for Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah.
Take the Staffa crew. It's a team. We use it as a team building event. Again, creating better culture for our company.
It's an expense. You're paying them to be there.
It is,
Yeah.
but it's they build a house for a veteran. It's a weekend long project that we're shooting for. It's makes you feel good.
Let me know when that's happening.
Hey,
Maybe if I'm able to join, I'll join.
We were tired last night,
Mm-hmm.
right? And where did you say we were going to dinner?
To a foundation that to give 10% back to the Ocean County vocational school systems.
So this restaurant had a vocational school. What?
Donate to dine to donate.
Okay, dine to donate. So we're tired, right? And I'm ready. I want to just in a hotel, right? Drink a beer in the tailgate of the truck, go to bed, right? He's like, no. We're
he's a slave's driver.
We're going to dine to donate, and I'm like, what is that? And
I'm driving. I'm taking.
Yeah, I said, okay, yeah. I said, all right, well, and he drove me, so I had a couple beers and a little bit of
Clyde
whiskey.
May,
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, they had it. But that's part of something that, and we didn't make a social media post about it because we wanted the restaurant to get the credit
that they deserve.
That they deserve. That what a great thing that
For offering this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Help,
Yeah.
No,
help
that's
Ocean
awesome.
County out.
Yeah.
Well, the
And the
vocational
trades.
school is a big thing right now. I think we're seeing more and more people go to vocational schools rather than going to
Trade
college.
school. Yeah.
Yeah. Getting back to this photo here, though, and Pete, you mentioned something about going back the second year and cleaning and sealing, and that's going to lead us.
I didn't say ceiling.
Protect.
So, sorry. I heard you say cleaning. But cleaning and protecting the environment, and that's going to segue into our next episode. I hope you'll tell us about what is here in these buckets that you brought,
Yes, sir.
and tell us a little bit more about protecting the hardscape and why we should be selling packages.
Yep, that's right.
So again, thank you for coming today, and we'll do a part 2 to be continued.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning into the Hardscape Huddle presented by Staffa Stone. And again, thank you, Techo-Bloc, for having their representatives here today.